welcome to the Adoption Lounge. I'm Amanda.
And I am Katie. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We're going to do things a little bit different today. Over the last year, we've been getting questions randomly and sporadically from different, media platforms.
Fans.
From our families and our actual families. But we wanted to answer them. So we thought we would go through and just answer them. I haven't really prepared any answers in advance. We just glanced through them and split them up based on who we thought would be able to answer it better. But we'll just get started. Yeah. Some of us have time crunch today.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Alrighty. We went through a failed match at 8 months pregnant, and now we are terrified to get excited about our new match. How do other families find the courage to invest emotionally again?
Well, I feel like Kelly does a really good job talking about this on a podcast we did recently. So maybe if you want more of an answer, check in with that. But I mean, What would you say is kind of an overview?
Well, I mean, one of the things is like if you don't keep going, then you're 100% not gonna.
That's some fair math right there.
So I usually just tell families that you just have to keep at it. It's hard. Allow yourself to kind of feel how you're feeling. I know you can get discouraged, but try your best to move forward and not take what happened in your last opportunity and bring it to the next.
Yeah, like take all the time you need to really like grieve what happened and get your head back in the game.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, I'll go now. Okay, I feel like mine is more intense than yours. Our 8-year-old adopted daughter who was adopted, keeps asking why her birth mom didn't want her. We've explained it wasn't about her, but she keeps bringing it up. What are some age-appropriate ways to help her process these big feelings? So, okay.
That is a deep one.
Yeah. I mean, I would think knowing your child is expressing these feelings would be fairly devastating because you just don't want your children hurt ever or feeling bad about themselves ever. I would say my parents did a really lovely job in telling me I was adopted from day one, but also explaining to me that, she just wanted me to have a better life. I feel like somebody doesn't just choose to endure 9 months of pregnancy just because. Like, that is a loving choice. Birth is a loving choice. And then being able to recognize and be self-aware that maybe you are not the best option for this child is a loving choice. So at the end of the day, it's all founded and based in love. I think for me, and listen, I am someone who will read 547 TripAdvisor reviews before booking a trip. So I am an information person. But for me, this makes logical sense to me. So I guess I never really questioned it because I felt like I had enough information. Because people are complicated, but at the end of the day, you don't go through pregnancy, delivery, and loss if you don't have love there, to the greatest of your capability, at least, so I would just kind of explain that. And I think probably also therapy. I think probably a professional, because I think it's important. I think therapy is not something that you need to have something be wrong in order to go. I think it helps you understand things about yourself and that there's no age too early to start talking about your feelings in a neutral space. So, I think maybe looking for a therapist that specializes in working with kids that are adopted. I know when I got diagnosed with ADHD, my mom found a therapist that specialized in kids with ADHD and different techniques we can use. And I think the same will probably go for adoption.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Thanks.
Good question.
Yeah.
Good answer. Teamwork. After our disruption, our friends and family seem afraid to ask how we're doing or mention adoption at all. The silence is almost worse than hearing their comments. How do we help our support system know what we need? I love this because we even talk to families who have come back for their second adoption and they some of them will choose not to tell family, and some will choose to tell family because they didn't in the beginning. So this is obviously a personal thing.
Grass is always greener.
Right. I think when you're thinking about adoption, I think who you're going to have as your support system, it's very important to sit them down and really talk to them about what your expectations are of them, because a lot of people may just be afraid of your adoption journey becoming your identity. So they try to not make that about every conversation. But I think if you...
It's so hard though, right? It's like when you find out someone's
Right.
engaged, and every time you talk to them, you want to be like, "How's the
I
wedding
wanna know
planning
all the
going?"
details.
Yeah, exactly. Did you find a dress?
Right.
What's going on?
So I think just outlining what your expectations are, and if they change throughout, like if you decide, hey, we love that you're asking questions, but we don't want you to, or hey, we know we said that we didn't want you to, but now we do. Don't be afraid to just check in and align expectations so everyone knows how to do this. Chances are nobody's gone through this before, so you're all just in it together.
Totally. Okay, this is kind of a fun one, actually. Our families keep making comments like she looks just like you about our adopted daughter, and we're not sure whether to correct them or just smile. What's the best way to handle these well-meaning but awkward comments? It's so funny because I'm going to shout out somebody. So I'm going to shout out, and hopefully she doesn't care, Katie Brown, who is my travel agent and adopted through our program, and I just love her so much. So if you need a travel agent, she specializes in Disney, and she's also completely fantastic. But I know she gets this a lot because her son does look a lot like her.
Really?
Yeah, and I always think that's so funny because we did have to deal with this growing up. I will say that I think people don't assume adoption ever.
Yeah.
But they do assume still. So they will assume you're blood related, and then their brain will look for connections. And I think this is just a natural thing to do. It's not meant to be offensive. So I know with my mom and I, we always thought it was really funny when someone was like, "Oh, you look just like your mom." It was like our own private joke. If you're like the, air conditioning repair guy, you do not need to understand the origins of our family. So we would all just kind of like chuckle to ourselves. With friends and family, if they were saying it constantly, at some point I would probably just explain to them on the side, it's my child's choice who they would like to tell that they are adopted. So depending on the circle that you are talking about this in, it could be a little inappropriate because it's not your information about that person to share. And also you don't want to ever erase a birth family's existence in, not in their life if you don't have an open adoption. I mean, maybe that's not what the expected mom wants or birth mom now wants. But, I still think that person exists. We're not looking for erasure here. So I think kind of talking to your kids about it maybe and following their lead, but also talking to your friends and family and be like, maybe don't anymore. Because I think that even though it's well-meaning and it's very sweet, like, I think I couldn't even stop myself to say something to Katie. I was kind of like, he does kind of look like you. And she's like, I know, I get it all the time. But like, and it's fun sometimes. I just think you have to be really careful.
Yeah. Great job, Katie.
Thanks, Amanda.
I feel guilty that I am not enjoying the adoption process. Everyone says we should feel grateful for this opportunity, but honestly, it's been traumatic. Is it normal to feel this conflicted?
Aw.
I think going through an adoption process, there's a lot of grief for what could have been and fear of what may or may not be during this process. So I think it's normal to feel all of the emotions.
Yeah.
And I think emotions are fleeting. So they're for a moment, if you feel like you're not enjoying it, allow yourself to not enjoy it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think everyone's different and you should never feel guilty for feeling a certain way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of grief. Like you have a tendency, some of our families to take on what you interpret as the expectant mom's grief as well. And you've got to let her hold space for her own grief. Like it's not for you to take on her behalf.
Well, and feeling not enjoying the process doesn't mean that you're not grateful for the opportunity to be able to do adoption either.
Yes.
Those are two separate things.
That's one we were talking about earlier because we were talking about how everyone's different with how they enjoy pregnancy and how Amanda absolutely loved, of course she did, loved being pregnant. And I was like, could take it or leave it.
But we both love being moms.
I love my kid, but yeah, pregnancy.
Yeah, and it doesn't
sucked.
mean that if you don't like pregnancy, it doesn't mean that you're not grateful for the opportunity to be able to carry a child. And
it's a privilege.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.
Right, but it just means you did not like.
Didn't care for it.
Yeah. So.
Our adopted teenager who was adopted, just found their birth family on social media and has been secretly communicating with them. We're hurt they didn't come to us first, but we also don't want to damage our relationship. How do we handle this? Okay. On behalf of all children who come from very stable parent relationships but still don't communicate, I apologize. My mom is like, let me love you. How do you need me? I will show up for you. And I'm like, thanks. I mean, honestly, Amanda she's legitimately my best friend, and she will tell you, and we're both actually really bad about this. We're just internal processors. So sometimes, I'm sure it's frustrating because it can feel like I'm not opening up when I'm just a solo processor. So I think sometimes it's hard because it feels like such a personal thing that you kind of are like exploring it, but telling other people, especially involving your parents, makes it feel so real, makes it feel like it's gone beyond your probably control in some sense, even if they're not thinking about that way. And I think those of us who hold our internal things very close to us feel like we're losing control extremely easily. And so I can understand that this is not about your teenager not trusting you. It is probably just about them not even knowing how to ask for help yet because they haven't processed that insane part of their brain. And honestly, I don't know how much better they'll get because I'm still the exact same way. But when I found my birth mom when I was 19, well, it took me a year with dial-up internet, so I was 18. But my mom was like, "Oh my God, I will help you. I am here for you." And I still did it all by myself. So
some people want to do it by themselves too, and some
yeah.
people want to.
And I don't know
figure
if
it
that's
out.
the best way to do it. That is just my personality, and it's not because my parents screwed anything up. It's just the way I came.
And I wouldn't take it personal too.
Yeah, that's
But
what I
it's
mean.
hard.
Like I wouldn't take it the wrong way. I wouldn't feel hurt. I feel like it's extremely personal too, because even though you feel like it was the catalyst and you're the first people that probably got to know this expectant mom, this is their birth mom. So I think they're probably just too scared to involve anyone else yet. They're still feeling it out themselves.
Well, I think it's natural to be like, wow.
And they could feel guilty.
I love you and I care about you. What did I do to make you feel like you could not open up to me about that? But it's not.
I really do think there's a huge guilt aspect. Like my mom was so supportive and I was still horribly racked with guilt.
Yeah.
We do it to ourselves sometimes. We're our own worst enemies.
Yeah. So we're struggling with jealousy, watching friends get pregnant easily while we're jumping through hoops to become parents. These feelings make us feel terrible about ourselves. How do we work through this? I would get this so much when I would work with families through their adoption process because it's heightened because you are going through something, you want something, and now it seems like everyone around you it's happening for and it's not happening for you, and that can be really, really hard. I think talking to a therapist while you're doing adoption, it can be so helpful.
Yeah.
Just kind of help you work through those feelings. But again, kind of like I said earlier, any emotions or feelings that you're feeling through this process, you have to just allow yourself to feel them. But there's probably going to be some jealousy and towards people that you feel like are getting something that you want so badly. It can be really frustrating. But just work through it. Let yourself feel it.
Yeah. Feel your feelings.
Feel your feelings. Put that on a t-shirt.
Sometimes I forget we're in the middle of filming a podcast and I was going to make a reference to something we talked about earlier and I was like, oh, we're filming. I was like, this is just like those t-shirts we're going to order. Okay, so my spouse and I are grieving infertility differently while trying to pursue adoption, and it's creating tension in our marriage. How do other couples navigate these different timelines of healing? Oh man, I don't know if I have a lot of advice for that one. It took Tom and I about 18 months to get pregnant with Reese. I was ready to just draw a line on a pregnancy test just to see what it looked like. I mean, it sucks. And it sucks if you're not on the same page, which we definitely were not. But sometimes I think it's funny, our own personalities are part of this as well. So I'm someone who's like, he'll be like, we should maybe go to Disneyland. I'm like, oh my God, it's booked. It's done. It's planned. And he's like, I just was opening up for discussion. Because I'm just one of those like snap decision makers. And I don't think that's always the best way to do it. He is the opposite. I think he takes forever. It drives me absolutely nuts. But I think in the long run, he was right to be hesitant. But it was very, very, very frustrating for me. I don't think we went through that very well. I think it's just hard. I think, again, therapy. I think it's important sometimes to make sure you're not just going to couples therapy, but individual therapy as well. Because if you feel like you're not on the same page, I think the real thing to work towards, if this is what you're wanting, is a resolution at some point, because sitting in the in-between is really challenging for the person who is ready. So the person who's not ready, I don't want them to feel so much pressure, like it's your job to figure it out. But like, there's something probably holding you back. So let's really get into it. Let's really talk about it. And what will help you feel more ready? Is there something, can we set a timeline? Can we do something to make the wait not seem endless while I'm over here. So I don't know. I mean, I think this is going to be individual per couple. It's a tough one. I think too, if you're on different pages about how you want to continue, like one person wants to do infertility and one person wants to do adoption, these are hard questions too, because not everything is right for everybody. So
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
finding a compromise that can work for everybody.
And keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Keep having open conversations. Maybe if you're not open to adoption, why not? And then how can we work on that then? Like, what are the deeply rooted fears that are making you hesitate? And what can we learn or make an effort to learn more about to make you feel more comfortable?
Yeah.
But it's tough. Marriage is hard, man.
It is. And then when you deal with infertility or adoption or anything that can add.
But death, divorce, and
strain.
infertility are the most stressful things I think you can go through. So.
Well, especially when you're doing a process that there are emotions involved, and sometimes the emotions that you guys are feeling aren't going to be the same. So you're at different places, everyone comes to acceptance at different times and excitement at different times, or they may be scared about different things. So it can feel like you're not on the same page when really you're just at different points of the process, but it doesn't mean that you're not still wanting to work towards adoption.
Yeah, totally.
You're just in different spaces, and that's okay too. Why do I not get any feedback on my adoption profile? It's getting shown all the time, but I haven't been chosen. I haven't received any constructive feedback, so how can I make it better? You get this a lot.
You get this question a lot. Or this complaint.
Yeah. I think it's hard because you're waiting to be chosen, and when you're not, you're looking for a reason as to why. Mm-hmm. One thing to keep in mind is that when an expectant mom is looking at, for instance, it can be different depending on what company you're working for. We usually present about 10 profiles at a time. So she's looking at 10 profiles. It's a hard enough decision to choose the person that they do choose or people that they choose.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing that she could even say that would help you get chosen the next time you're looked at. Because what she might be looking for or what she might have connected with is just so silly. I always tell the story about the pet turtle. She chose a family, an expectant mom chose a family because they both had pet turtles. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you can go out and get a pet turtle and now be more marketable.
I know whenever I tell people because we had that Angel, but with the Dalmatian, they're always like, oh, we got to go to the Dalmatian. I'm like, that might not mean anything to the next birth mom.
Right. I mean anything. And also she doesn't, it's hard enough for her to give feedback even as to why she chose the family that she did. She's not giving us feedback on all 10 families. That is not the space that she is in. She's going through one of the most difficult times of her life, so she is not looking to give feedback on 10 profiles. So we don't have feedback to give you. But the feedback that your company should be giving you is when the profile is actually created, making sure that you're talking about things that are going to stand out to expectant moms, making sure that, I know our profile team has done so much research around even what colors,
adoption-friendly language,
colors and profiles that tend to be chosen more. So that's really where the feedback comes. And then when you go to update your profile, maybe so far in, there can be little tweaks that we could make or things that we could add to maybe see if that would make expectant mothers want to engage more. But ultimately, it seems redundant, but it's just waiting for the right opportunity. And it doesn't mean that you have to change anything about your profile.
Yeah. I agree. And you're just not going to get constructive feedback either. Because imagine you're an expectant mom who's in a vulnerable position. You're sent 10 profiles. Your birth mother coordinator is not going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you like Todd and Amy. Now, can you tell me what you absolutely hate about the other 9? Like, nobody has time for that. Plus, that's not even in the headspace. She probably likes everybody. There's just one person that she felt emotionally drawn to for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm out of questions, though, so.
Yeah. What was the comment that you made?
Oh, I said it's not like a real estate showing where they're like, oh, God, they seemed really nice. I'm just looking for a bigger kitchen.
Yeah. The tile in the bathroom, I
like that wallpaper. Can you imagine taking that down? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Can't deal with the carpet.
Chair rail. I feel like we would be hilarious real estate. Oh, God. So please keep the questions coming. We love it. It's so fun. We'll probably try to do this again in 6 months or so.
Yeah, we love it. We love answering questions. So
yeah. So
comment.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.